Hey guys, my name is Brenda Morgan and I am a student at Southern Connecticut State University. I decided to create a blog about women's gender roles in different cultures. The question I will be studying throughout my blog post is, how have women's gender roles in different countries improved throughout history? I want to find out if women have made any strides towards equality and how they have achieved more equal roles in their communities. Let's go through a brief history lesson. Women in modern history, the late 1500s, were given guidelines to follow in their everyday lives. These guidelines soon became expectations, which became gender roles, making women inferior to men. Women were not allowed to vote, have property rights, or allowed businesses. Women were expected to stay home and care for their home, cook meals, and care for their children. It wasn't until late 1930 that most women around the world were granted the right to vote. During World War I, in 1914 to 1918, many women worked in factories while the men were off fighting. After World War II, in the 1939 to 1945, women no longer wanted to go back to their lives before they were allowed to work jobs. Women in the 50s were then expected to not work and stay home to keep their husbands happy. In the 60s and 70s, the feminist movement began. Women protested and went on strike to push equality. The Miss magazine was published in 1972, which allowed women to practice their rights, which became a very popular form of expression. Women of color and women of lower social standings also began to participate in the movement. Women's studies in universities launched in the 60s and 70s. The feminist anti-rape campaign allowed legal reform at a state level. Women in the United States have come a far way to push for their equalities with much success. Women are now doctors, business leaders, and attending schools at high levels. Women have made great milestones through history in the United States, and although there is room for more improvements, it is safe to say, who run the world, girls.